Not the playful kind. Not friendly. It was sharp, cruel, echoing across the polished hardwood floor of the city's most expensive martial arts academy. White walls, golden trophies, framed photos of champions. And in the middle of it all stood Marcus, holding a mop, wearing a faded blue janitor's uniform, his name stitched crookedly over his heart. The man laughing at him wore a black belt, so worn it looked ancient, tied around his sculpted waist. His students watched like an audience at a comedy show. "Hey, mop boy," the instructor said, clapping his hands once. "You said you know martial arts? You? You can barely lift a bucket." Marcus didn't answer. He just lowered the mop and met the man's eyes. And that's when everything changed. If you love your country and respect your soldiers, hit that subscribe button right now. Marcus had been cleaning floors since sunrise. The academy opened at 8, but he arrived at 6, before the music, before the shouting, before the kicks slammed into pads. He liked the quiet, the way the building felt honest when no one was performing. He scrubbed sweat from the mats, wiped fingerprints from mirrors, emptied trash cans full of protein shake bottles and broken tape. No one ever asked his name. They just said, "Hey," or "Janitor," or sometimes nothing at all. That day, the class ended early. Marcus was wiping near the edge of the mat when a student tripped over his bucket. "Watch where you're going, man," the student snapped. Marcus raised his hands in apology. "My fault." The instructor, Victor Kane, stepped forward. Kane was a local legend, undefeated in regional tournaments. A social media celebrity with millions of views of spinning kicks and knockouts. He wore confidence like armor. "What's your problem?" Kane said. "You trying to sabotage training?" "No, sir," Marcus said quietly. "Just doing my job." Kane looked him up and down. "You look like you've trained before." Marcus froze for half a second. "A long time ago." That's when the laughter started. "Where?" Kane said. "Prison gym." Students chuckled. Phones came out. Someone whispered, "This is going to be good." Marcus turned to leave. Kane blocked his path. "Hold up. You said you trained. Show us something." "I'm working," Marcus said. "Come on," Kane said. "One move. Entertain us." Marcus shook his head. "I don't fight anymore." That should have been the end. But Kane smirked. "So you're scared." The word hit harder than any punch. Marcus felt heat rise behind his eyes. Memories stirred. Cold nights. Desert wind. The sound of helicopters. A voice shouting commands in a language he barely remembered. "I said I don't fight," Marcus repeated. Kane tied his belt tighter. "I'll go easy on you. No headshots. You get one chance." The room went quiet. The students formed a circle without realizing it. Phones lifted higher. Marcus stared at the mat. "This isn't a game." Kane stepped closer. "Neither is this." Marcus slowly removed his gloves and placed the mop against the wall. He rolled up his sleeves. There was something in his posture that made a few students shift uncomfortably. Kane bowed sarcastically. "Whenever you're ready, janitor." Marcus bowed back. Not mockingly. Respectfully. The bell rang. Kane lunged first, fast and flashy. A spinning kick aimed at Marcus's head. Marcus leaned just enough to let it miss. The kick whooshed past his ear. Gasps. Kane followed with a punch. Marcus parried it with 2 fingers and stepped inside Kane's guard. He didn't strike. He waited. Kane snarled and attacked harder. Combination punches. A knee. An elbow. Marcus moved like water, redirecting every strike, never wasting energy, never overreacting. Students started whispering. Phones shook. "Why isn't he hitting back?" someone said. Marcus's eyes were calm. Too calm. Kane threw a wild haymaker. That was the mistake. Marcus stepped forward and tapped Kane's chest twice. The instructor stumbled backward, confused. "What was that?" Kane barked. Marcus exhaled slowly. "Heart strike. If I'd used force, you wouldn't be standing." Laughter died instantly. Kane rushed again, angry now. He aimed a brutal kick at Marcus's ribs. Marcus caught the leg, twisted, and swept Kane's standing foot. Kane crashed on his back. Silence. The great Victor Kane lay on the mat, staring at the ceiling. Marcus stepped back. "Enough." Kane jumped up, face red. "You think that means you win?" He attacked again, reckless. Marcus moved once. One clean motion. He sidestepped, placed a palm on Kane's shoulder, and guided him face first into the mat. The sound echoed. No blood, no broken bones, just humiliation. The room exploded in noise. What the hell? Who is this guy? Kane struggled up. Who taught you? Marcus picked up his mop. People who don't brag. He turned to leave. Kane shouted after him. Come back. Finish it. Marcus stopped at the door. I finished it years ago. The video went viral by noon. 1 million views before sunset. Janitor destroys black belt was trending across every platform. Reporters came. Bloggers called. Influencers wanted interviews. Marcus didn't answer any of them. He clocked in the next morning like nothing happened. But the academy was different now. No one laughed. They nodded. Some bowed. One student whispered, "Sir." Kane didn't teach that day. The office door stayed shut. Marcus mopped the mat where Kane had fallen. That night, Marcus went home to a small apartment with a folded American flag on the wall and a pair of dusty boots under the bed. He sat down and stared at his hands. Hands that had once carried wounded men out of burning buildings. Hands that had learned to strike not for sport, but for survival. Years ago, Marcus Reed had been a combat medic in a forgotten war. Trained in hand-to-hand combat because sometimes bullets ran out. Sometimes enemies were too close. Sometimes fists were all you had. When he came home, no parade waited for him. Just noise, bills, silence. He took the first job he could find. Cleaning floors was quiet, predictable, safe, until someone laughed. The next day, Kane came out of his office. He looked different. No belt, no swagger. "Marcus," he said. Marcus turned. "Yes. I was wrong," Kane said. "I judged you. I humiliated you." Marcus nodded once. "You did." Kane swallowed. "Will you teach me?" The room froze. Marcus looked at the students. Young faces. Hungry eyes. "I don't teach to win," Marcus said. "I teach to survive." "That's fine," Kane said. "So do I now." Marcus thought of the men he lost. The nights he still couldn't sleep. The fight he never wanted again. Then he remembered the laugh. "I'll teach," Marcus said. "But not like this." He took off his janitor badge and set it on the counter. "I'll clean floors," he said. "But I'll also clean egos." Training changed. No trophies. No showboating. No mockery. Just discipline. Respect. Control. Weeks passed. Kane lost followers. Then gained new ones. Janitor Sensei became a nickname. Marcus never smiled on camera. He smiled when students bowed. One night, a young boy stayed after class. "My dad says fighters are bullies," the boy said. "Is that true?" Marcus knelt to eye level. "Fighters protect. Bullies hide." The boy nodded like it was law. Months later, Marcus stood on the mat alone after class. He mopped once more. The floor reflected his face. Not a janitor. Not a fighter. A survivor. A teacher. A man who didn't need a belt to be dangerous. And somewhere online, millions watched a clip of a janitor who refused to be small. From which part of the country are you watching this video?